I have to say this.
Okay.
I believe Damian Lillard's scared. And he doesn't want to be betrayed as the villain by the fans in Portland. He doesn't want to come across as a guy that demanded a trade out of Portland. I believe he's scared. Because if he wasn't scared, he would have already demanded a trade. If he wasn't scared, he wouldn't have made all these excuses. That's how I feel about Damian Lillard. And until he demands a trade, I'm going to think he's scared. I'm going to think he's shook. I think he's comfortable being in a situation where there's no expectations. What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron,
Brian,
and this is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today following the NBA draft, giving our reactions. A little late, but I digress. Yeah, man, how did you feel about the NBA draft? Yeah, I'll let you start it off.
I don't know why. If my voice sounds nasally, it's because I literally barely can breathe through my nose. So bear with me here. Sinus is kicking my butt. But I could barely. The draft coverage just wasn't good. Like, I don't know why the draft coverage is so trash around the NBA. Like, the NFL, you got this whole spectacle. You got Mel Kiper. You give it the play-by-play. You got the NFL Network giving their own thing. I don't know why the NBA draft coverage is just so bland and boring and whatever. They don't even know what they be talking. They comparing dudes to players that don't even play like them. I honestly, I ain't even listen to the commentary. I was just waiting for the picks to be announced. Because that's just what I was here for. Yeah, the draft, it happened. Everyone went pretty much where they were expected to go, except for the Wizards pick.
Your boy, Azir Thompson, you wanted him.
I ain't expect them to go back-to-back like that. But, hey, it is what it is. Good players, though. I'm surprised Cam Whitmore fell as far as he did. He was one of a top 10 lock, for the draft. But apparently he had injury concerns and whatnot. So, yeah. But as far as, what you said last week about the Scoot versus Brandon Miller thing. Mm-hmm. And, obviously the Hornets went and drafted Brandon Miller. I hope he reaches his potential, because the way the fan base has treated that pick, it's kind of like when the Raiders drafted Clelin Ferrell that 1 year in the draft, and all the Raiders fans were like, what is this? So, yeah, I hope he pans out, because I hope his confidence doesn't get shaken up because of that. Or, I hope he plays with a chip on his shoulder so we can really prove that, hey, look, I can hoop. Like, he can hoop. But that March Madness tournament, it ain't really. A lot of people sold their stock when they see the 3 games he plays. So, Scoot go to Portland. I thought they were going to trade the pick, personally, because Dame and Scoot. How the heck does that work? Scoot's not really a shooter. So, with Scoot going to run the point and Dame play the 2, then what happens to Anthony? Is he going to come off the bench now? So, like, yes, it's I don't know what that Portland org is doing. They just doing whatever out there. Mm-hmm. They need to be starting to be like, hey, we're trying to trade Dame, but they it's just stubbornness, and that's why they'll never win. They'll never be a winning org, because they don't want to make the right sacrifices. They don't want to be Logan Roy. They don't want to. They can't make the sacrifices. They can't throw one of their own under the bus in order to get ahead. They ain't got that. They don't got that killer in them.
Man, succession
bars.
Okay, I like that. See, here's the thing: the NBA draft was a snooze fest. I was just waiting until the Lakers get picked, and then afterwards, I just turned it off. I was so bored. Half of the guys I didn't even know. I was like, who are these guys? And it made me realize, number one, I am to blame because I should have done a better job watching college basketball and to just scout some of these players. So shame on me, but at the same time, basketball needs to do a better job of covering basketball and making sure that these players that are getting drafted, we know about them, like the NFL does. They have guys that are, and NFL related guys. They have guys that are college guys. Sometimes they have NFL with college guys as well that combine. And with NBA, it feels like there's a disconnect. It feels like there's mostly NBA guys and maybe one or two college guys that we see on a daily basis. And that's where I have a problem with just the coverage of the NBA draft, because it seems like it's a bunch of NBA guys that didn't really do a whole lot of homework on the college guys. So like JJ Redick, he has admitted he doesn't watch college ball. Yes, he's played college ball, but he's admitted he doesn't watch college ball. He watches the NBA, but he was at the NBA draft.
Yeah. Why was he? He was like one of the main guys on the panel.
Well, because his name, he's been, first take, and people love him talking about basketball. So they said, here, we'll throw you an NBA draft.
Probably just gave him a script or something.
He did an okay job. Jay Williams used to be that college guy back in the day, and he used to be like, I really loved him during college game day. Like, he was very entertaining. I loved his analysis. Now he's more of a personality than he does more day-to-day sort of analyst stuff. And I think that sort of hurt his sort of image in a way, because he used to be very respected. Now he's not as respected as he once was, because he's going to first take. He's bickering with Stephen A. back and forth. So you do that, and a lot of people just tune out the coverage. I thought the young lady that remember the young lady who was called, said JJ Redick was an average shooter, and she also was doing a breakdown. I think it may have been Wembanyama's dribbling, whatever. And I thought she did a really good job. I was like, who was that?
Yeah,
I think she does WNBA and maybe college women's sports as well for basketball. So I do remember her on that, but I'm glad that she got the recognition that she did, because she's really good. But overall, just I think another problem is that the top 5 picks, only one player came from college. Like, who's watching overtime elite basketball? Let's be honest. Like, nobody, like, unless you are a true basketball fan that goes to watch the high school games, like actually drives to high school and watches high school basketball, watches college, watches overseas, watches international, and obviously pro. Unless you're that type of guy, chances are you're not watching overtime basketball and overtime elite, because the Thompson twins, as talented as they are, didn't see much of them because they're not playing college. They're not even playing G League. They're not even playing overseas. So you don't really get there's not a lot of tension on them until we get to the NBA draft. And that was my problem, is that we don't see them a lot on television, because a lot of these guys are playing they're playing for these programs, for these platforms that aren't getting a lot of attention. You don't see Bleacher Report tweeting about them. You don't see remember back in the day, Baller's Life used to do a lot of coverage. You don't see a lot of that nowadays. It's really just, okay, if Wembanyama, he has all this hype, whatever, we'll see Wembanyama highlights. NBA TV, they'll show Wembanyama on the website, whatever. They'll show one of them games. And then with college, we already know, like ESPN, they may show some highlights, but they don't put like a lot of coverage in it like they would for NBA per se. So that's really what we're getting. We're not really getting a whole lot of coverage of these NBA draft guys, and it's unfortunate, because back in the day, it used to be a lot different. We used to know a lot of the prospects beforehand, but now it's just, and that's because college basketball, the negativity surrounding college basketball has just hurt the sport, even with NIL. So that was the number one thing with the NBA draft, besides the coverage as well, because it was boring. I think, that was pretty much it. NBA guys trying to coverage college basketball, it just doesn't work. You need guys that actually cover the sport to do the draft. The Jay Billises, I forgot that the coach, the former coach, I forgot his name. He's all bald and stuff. I forgot his name. But you need college guys to do the NBA draft, not NBA guys doing the NBA draft. That's the problem. Like you watch the NFL draft, Mel Kiper studies college. Todd McShay studies college. I forgot. Daniel Jeremiah. Forgot who else. Louis Riddick. He also studies college, but he does NFL as well. So he does a little bit of both. You need guys that specialize at those specific sports, not bring in NBA guys to cover the sport when they've never done it, when they're not known for doing it. It just doesn't work. Like I'm looking at Stephen A. He's doing he has Stephen A's world. He's doing his own thing, and I'm like, this dude doesn't watch college like that. I know he doesn't watch college like that, but he's trying to make it work, and it's just so awkward. It's not. He can't do He can't do any sort of breakdown of their game because he doesn't watch the games like that. So it's just awkward. It's just watching the sport.
Another thing, I think a thing that doesn't get mentioned as far as the NBA draft is the fact that it's so soon after the finals.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a full month after the finals ended and we had the draft. Versus the NFL, we have Super Bowl is in February. We got March and late, about 2 month gap, a 2 month or so gap before the draft. So like everyone can really lock in on these prospects. Like you could catch up pretty easily within those 2 months on who's who. They can put out content and stretch it out instead of having to cram everything in such a small frame. And also the fact that the NBA has a summer league. So they want to get these guys playing and ready for the summer league. So the draft coverage and the amount they could probably do production-wise is probably going to take a hit. Versus with the NFL, they could really stretch it out. The college season ends, and then we get the Super Bowl, then it's pretty much straight draft coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Versus NBA, you got the college season in March Madness, still got NBA, then we get to the playoffs, then we get to the finals, and then boom, right to the draft. And then summer league, and then preseason, like it's maybe it's either a case of the NBA doing a little too much, or they just not putting that much effort into the product.
I think that's a great point because it's such a quick turnaround, especially for the NBA season, because the NBA season starts in October or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's so much stuff in between that they have to sort of do before even you get to the preseason, and that's where I think the problem resides at. NFL season ends, they have a long layoff. Like it's a very long layoff, so you have a lot of wiggle room where you can add different things. The Senior Bowl. You have the combine, you have pro day, You have all that stuff, and you have time to evaluate. You have time to see film of these players. You have time to when you watch like NFL Live and you watch all these different coverages of the pre-coverage of the draft, whatever. They're breaking down all these different prospects, right, and they're sort of giving their predictions. All of the analysis is on the draft. While NBA, they're still talking about the NBA Finals, they're still talking about the playoffs, still talking about the regular season and stuff like that, where you ignore sort of all the draft coverage, right? And you're not really talking about that until the last week before we get to the NBA draft, and so that's another problem. So I don't know how they could fix it, because they want to start the season in October, and the only way you could fix it is if they push back to December, which you're not going to do because that's a lot of money left on the table. And you also want to take advantage of the summer league because that's money as well. Summer league is a big deal. It used to not be a big deal, but I say around 2013, I believe, that's when it started to become a big deal because a lot of these prospects would come in and they would start hooping in the summer league, and you were like, damn, this shit kind of lit, especially the Vegas summer league. And when there's like no basketball per se, and like NBA TV, ESPN, they start showing the summer league, people would just be fiending for it. But That's why Summer League has been sort of this great thing. I think it started to go to another level when Lonzo Ball came into the league. That Summer League, the whole thing with LeVar Ball and everything. I think that's when like the league started to like really sort of put their arms around Summer League, and they started to show like nationally televised game like ESPN games. I'm like, Summer League games on ESPN? Like what? Like what is going on? And yeah, now Summer League is taking something on its own, and if Wembanyama, it's possibility he will play in the Summer League. When he plays and Scoot plays and Brandon Miller plays, it's going to be must-watch TV because people are going to be enamored at just, okay, what are they going to do? And it's just hard. It's just really hard. I don't know what they can really do because they're not going to push back the NBA season, and they're not going to push back the preseason. And NBA draft, you want to get them in there, get in the system, get them prepared and everything like that. And then you also have, remember, USA basketball, all that other stuff in between. It's just a lot going on when it comes to basketball.
True.
Like, basketball is a year-round sport. If we being honest, like, it's a year-round sport. Football, 16-game season, off-season. But with basketball, it is year-round. USA basketball, Summer League, NBA draft, preseason.
Now an in-season tournament.
Yes, it's so hard. I don't know what the NBA could do. I think this boils down to the college basketball coverage. These players going to college. That's what this boils down to. If the players would go to college, the Thompson twins, they would go to college. If Scoot went to college, if Wembanyama went to college, that's what this boils down to. Because back when Jason Tatum was playing, Zion was playing, all these other players were playing, De'Aaron Fox, we did not have this problem. That's what it boils down to. If these players played in college, we wouldn't really. Yeah, it would be a lot better if the the big networks would talk about these prospects during the season, but ultimately we would still know them because they played in college in nationally televised games. That's what it boils down to, really. If they were playing in college and not going to these different sort of platforms, overtime elites, etc., then we wouldn't have this issue. But I will say this. This year, I will do a better job. I will watch college basketball. Yes, I know you're like, I will do a better job.
I hate watching college basketball.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch, like, the prospects from high school. Sort of follow them around. See how they work. I'll do that instead of just, I'm gonna just watch this team. Like I'm not gonna do all that. Like I can't. I'm sorry. It's not that good. That's what I'm gonna do so I can sort of evaluate the prospects before they come to the league. So I'll have a good idea. Okay, this is how this guy plays. Okay, now I understand why he's rated this high in the draft boards, because I have no clue who these guys are. Like the guy that the Wizards picked. I have no clue. I know he played with Wemby, but I've never heard of him.
Me either. But
I heard that Bronny James played against him, and he torched him. I think it was that one game where Bronny, he may have been hot from 3 or something. I know he had that. He had this crazy, like, layup finish. I think he may have finished over him. I remember on Twitter, people were talking about Bronny James and how I think he played against the Thompson twins, and he had a really good game against them. And he also played against the guy that the Wizards drafted as well, and he had a really good game. So keep your eye on Bronny James, because if he's playing really well against guys that are getting drafted in the league, lottery picks, might have something. Might have something, guys. I'm just saying. That's very interesting. But that'll be later down the road. Let's get to just the fact that there wasn't really any major trades.
Yeah.
In the NBA in the draft. I was disappointed. I thought there was gonna be a Damian Lillard trade. Maybe slightly possibility of Zion getting traded. There was none of that. Teams were just like, nope, we're just gonna drop players.
Yep.
I guess they were like, okay, so the Nuggets, they drafted and developed. We're gonna take their idea and we're just gonna draft and develop as well. I thought the Lakers were gonna trade their pick. It was just a weird draft. I was very disappointed. What was your reaction to the idea that there was no trades in the NBA draft? No major trades.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, Porter's going to trade this pick, ain't they? And then when I saw the pick is it, I was like, oh. I was like, that ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, it was like silly trades. Like the Wizards traded up to 7th.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't understand. Like it was just pretty uneventful. But the NFL draft, it was trades galore.
Exactly.
Traded back out the top 5, top 3. They traded like it was crazy.
And we know the prospects in the NFL draft because they do a better job of evaluating the players and getting us ready for the draft. I'm looking at these players in the NBA draft. I don't know majority of them. I may know like 10 prospects, and then after that, I'm clueless. Like the Lakers, they drafted that one point guard out of Indiana. I've never heard of him. I was
Exactly.
like, who the hell is he? I'm glad. I mean, he sounds like a nice player. I mean, I saw a couple of his clips. I was like, okay, he might be able to do something. He has a nice mid-range game. Yeah, I mean, and another good thing, the dude is cuffed. You don't have to worry about them IG models in LA. That's another good thing because did you see the I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter where they asked the NBA draft prospects like a question. It was like who is your celebrity crush or whatever.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So like Brandon Miller, I think he said no, not celebrity crush. It was like who would you? It may have been celebrity crush. I don't know, but something to that realm. And Brandon Miller was like, yeah, I want I think it was Ruby Rose or something. I'm like, oh my god, bro. Like it was bad. It was bad. I'm just like, nah, man.
At least she not low for trapping dudes with kids. So
Yeah, but yeah, some of those dudes, I'm like, that's just celebrity crush? Her? I think somebody said Lotto. Somebody said I forgot, but man, it was. I think somebody said Zendaya. I was like, okay, that's okay. But then then the video came out. I was like, but it is acting, so we can't. So she gets kind of a pass, but it was still like, damn, Tom. But we sidetracking. Anywho, back to the no trades thing. Yeah, I was very disappointed. Damian Lillard. What is he gonna do? We gonna get to that, but yeah, the Pelicans not trading Zion. I guess they believe in Zion. I guess they're on good terms. I don't know. I don't know. I will say that Shawty, Mariah Mills, she is a predator. She's crazy. Like, what the hell is wrong with her?
I'm glad they suspended her on Twitter.
Oh my God. Just get rid of her account forever. I don't want to see her ever again. She is a predator. She's like in her 30s.
Yes.
Zion was like in his early 20s. It's like 22 years old. Chill on him, bro. Like, come on now. You just mad because he flipped the script on you. He was the one that was doing. See, like women, you know how women are. They play these games, whatever. But he flipped it on her. He was like, nah, you ain't gonna do me dirty. I'm gonna do you. And she mad about it because he played the game. He played the game. That's just what he did, bro. And she just didn't like it. I don't know why. It's just weird. Name tatted on her face. Come on now.
That has to be fake. I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either, but that's still crazy that she would post the video.
They do anything for clout.
Oh my God, that is just. But anywho, on another note, so like Damian Lillard, so Portland drafted Scoot Henderson at 3, and Damian Lillard hasn't demanded a trade yet. Now, Sam Hymick, I think that's his name is, reported that Damian Lillard.
He said his camp wasn't happy they drafted Scoot or something like that.
He also said
ecstatic, my baby.
He also said that he likes Miami Heat as a trade destination, right? And I think somebody said Sam Hammock. He's a trusted source, so that's a big deal. My thing with Damian Lillard, do you really want to win? Are you about it? Like, seriously, I have to say this.
Okay.
I believe Damian Lillard's scared. I think he's scared of being the villain. He's scared of the pressure of being the hunted, not the hunter. Because when he was in Portland, he was the hunter. He was trying to chase the Warriors. He was trying to chase certain teams. Now he's going to be the hunted when he goes to Miami. Because majority of people, not majority, but some people are going to expect, okay, you add Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat, championship favorites in the Eastern Conference, one of the best teams in the NBA. They should win the championship. I think he's scared. I think he's scared of the pressure when it comes to being the hunted, because he's never experienced that before. And he doesn't want to be portrayed as the villain by the fans in Portland. He doesn't want to come across as a guy that demanded a trade out of Portland. I believe he's scared. Because if he wasn't scared, he would have already demanded a trade. If he wasn't scared, he wouldn't have made all these excuses. That's how I feel about Damian Lillard. And until he demands a trade, I'm going to think he's scared. I'm going to think he's shook. I think he's comfortable being in a situation where there's no expectations, where people don't think you're going to win a championship. You're free to average your 30 points, not have to go to the finals, expectation to go to the finals. You see Joel Embiid, he couldn't beat Boston. People is criticizing him and stuff. I think he's scared of that pressure. People are like, oh, Aaron, you're not right. You don't know what this guy is thinking. Look how he's being portrayed. It seems like he's scared to me. That seems like a guy that doesn't want all the pressure when it comes to winning a championship, with being a finals favorite. So that's just me. I don't know how all you other people look at it, but for me, Damian Lillard, he's just not. I don't know. He says he want to win the championship, but does he really want those expectations? Does he really want the criticism that comes with, let's say he doesn't win a championship and he's considered and he's with Miami? Does he really want that criticism? Because his entire career, he has escaped those criticisms because he's played in Portland, because he's had an inferior team, because he had to go against the Warriors, because he had to go against certain teams. Does he really want that criticism? I don't think he does, because he hasn't demanded a trade, because he hasn't told Portland that I want to leave and go to a championship winner. That's how I feel about it. Y'all can feel whatever you want to feel, but that's just me. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of Dame continuously just tippy-toeing around the situation that you're in. You said that I don't want to play with young players. I want to win now. Well, guess what? You're surrounded by young players. And you haven't demanded a trade? You're still taking time for Portland to, for free agency? You're still waiting? Portland is daring you to demand a trade because they don't want to look bad. They're not going to say, Dame, we're going to trade you. They are waiting for you to demand a trade because they know they'll look good. They don't want to look bad. They want you to be the villain. They don't want to look like the villain. Because if they trade Dame, people say that's the smart move because you're building for the future. You're not going to be good anyway. Dame, you have to be the villain. I'm sorry. That's what's going to happen. You win championships, guess what? You're the villain most of the time. Kevin Durant was the villain. Stephen Curry was the villain. LeBron James was the villain. Kobe Bryant was the villain. When you win championships, a lot of people are going to hate you. A lot of people are going to despise you. That's what comes with chasing a ring. And I think he's scared of that. I think he's shook. How do you feel about Damian Lillard not requesting a trade after Portland selected Scoot Henderson?
I think you're pretty spot on with your little rant there. Mm-hmm. Like I said last week, I think it's one of the scenarios where he wants them to break up with him instead of the other way around. He doesn't want to look like the bad guy, like you said. So if he's okay with being mediocre for the rest of his career as far as winning games and whatnot, that's just a sword he'll die on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sick. Like I said, I'm sick and tired of hearing about Damian Lillard. And unless he's saying I want to trade, or the Portland Trailblazers say they traded him, just let him rot at this point, because we're done feeling sorry for this dude.
Yeah, man. You fighting for your life right now. Hey, man, just drink
beer with us.
Lemons, oranges. Yeah, that helps.
I have none of that in my house.
Oh, God. You need to go to the store after this recording. Get some lemons, put it in your water. Get some oranges. Consume that. Vitamin C. You need a lot of it, especially with a cold. But anywho, back to the topic ahead. Damian Lillard, demand a trade. It's time. Stop dancing. It's a standoff right now between Damian Lillard and the organization. They're daring each other to make a move. That's what it's all about, because at the end of the day, the Portland Trailblazers have a bunch of guards. They have Shaedon Sharpe. They have Anthony Simons, Scoot, Damian Lillard. Come on now. Like, what are we doing here? It's clear as day. They're daring you to make a trade right now, to demand a trade right now, and that's what they're waiting on. Anywho, so the Celtics, they made some trades. So it was like a 3-team trade, right, originally. Well, what's going on?
Hawks finalizing a deal to trade John Collins to Jazz for Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick.
Oh, okay.
I saw Rudy. I thought it was Gobert for some reason. So I was like,
okay,
oh, snap.
right. I was about to say, hold on, bro. Oh, wait. Okay, breaking news, I guess.
Rudy Gay? He's still in the league?
Yeah, I was about to say, okay. Rudy Gay, he's still getting paid. Good for him. I guess. I mean, John Collins not that good, so yeah. There's no other trades, I guess. But yeah, speaking of trades, so the Celtics, they made a trade for Porziņģis. It was originally they traded Malcolm Brogdon to the Clippers, but Malcolm Brogdon, I guess his health, there was like health concerns. The Clippers were like, nah, we're good. We already have to deal with Kawhi and Paul George. We don't want another guy that has health concerns. And the Clippers,
exactly.
And the Clippers kept Marcus Morris. There was this one guy, this one Clippers fan. He was so pissed. He was like, "No, we kept Marcus Morris." But then they got rid of Marcus Smart, which is not great. He was the heart and soul of that team.
He was their best playmaker too.
He was the heart and soul of that team. He was the leader of that team. They traded him for Porziņģis. I mean, Porziņģis is nice. He was pretty solid for the Wizards. He averaged like 20, I think it was.
Yeah.
He had career highs, efficiency-wise, I think it was. I think they said he played his best defensive season of his career. That's what I was told. He's a nice player when he's healthy.
That is definitely a fact.
So let me get this straight. Boston traded for a big that's injury-prone. And you add him with another big that's injury prone. I'm talking about Robert Williams III. So you have two bigs that are talented, that bring a lot to the table, but are questionable health-wise. You have no point guard. Derek White is not a point guard. He is not a point guard. And I'm assuming they're probably going to start Derek White. Derek White is a nice player, but he should be coming off your bench. So I was looking at this tweet. It was showing like their five, their point guard, who's gonna be the point guard, who's gonna be the shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. And they had like Derek White the 1, Chandler Brown the 2, Jason Tatum the 3, Porziņģis at the 4, Robert Williams at the 5. And there was mixed reactions. Some people like, man, that is so talented. Some people like, dude, we're so done. Like this is bad. And I'm leaning towards the people where it's like, oh, this is bad. Because what did they address? Okay, you give more spacing to Tatum and Brown. But what was the major reason why they lost? It's because they didn't have a point guard that can make life easier for Tatum and Brown. Because Tatum and Brown are dribbling the ball too much, having to play make. And that's not what they're good at. That's why they lost. That's why I think Brown, he turned the ball over like eight times or something. It was bad game 7. Yeah. He was bad. He kept getting the ball stripped out of his hand. Do you really want those two guys to have to orchestrate the offense? It's not like they're in the triangle offense where you don't need a traditional point guard. This team right here, you need a point guard that can orchestrate. You need like a Chris Paul type of point guard, and they don't have that. So what have you really addressed? Okay, you've given Tatum and Brown more space to operate, but you're still risking one, Tatum and Brown turning the ball over because they're not really good playmakers, and also Porziņģis he's injury prone pretty much. What if you really addressed that sort of elevates you into, okay, we're going to win a championship now? Like, seriously. It seems like they're still stuck in the same place.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, like, what is your reaction to the trade?
Here's how I imagine this trade going down. Brad Stevens, the GM now. He talked to the older friend. He was like, hey, what do you think was the reason we lost the playoffs last year? Oh, yeah, we didn't really have playmaking from the guard position. We really didn't have any guys to set up Tatum and Brown, playmaking things. We should probably go look for a true point guard. Tyus Jones is available for trading. So, yeah, let's try to do that. Brad Stevens got on the phone and said, all right, give us Porziņģis. like I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense to me because everyone knew the point guard was the problem. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a traditional point guard. And then they said, let's get a center who also has injury concerns. He's a good player, but he's like 7'1" and averages 8 rebounds. And then you're going to move him to play the 4 or move Robert Williams to play the 4. I mean, I don't understand. Who's playing point guard?
I don't know. That's a question. Maybe Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know.
That man might need Tommy Johnson. We don't know what's going on with bro.
I guess they're like, oh, well, in Indiana, he did average like 9 or 10 assists. Maybe he can replicate that. That was on a bad team.
His elbow, whatever it is cooked. So if the Clippers backed out of the trade because his elbow was messed up, he probably might not even be ready to play like the first few months of the next season. That's how bad it might be. So, yeah. And then,
well, I will say Boston did get back 2 first-round picks for Marcus Smart. So that was, and then
that's crazy.
They also
what are the Grizzlies doing?
I don't know.
That's what we need to be asking.
That's a great question.
Granted, Marcus Smart is a better Dillon Brooks. But, like, you gave away your best playmaking point guard. Like,
Yeah, I understand. You're right. You're right about that. It's just,
these are some interesting trades.
Interesting trades. Yes. It's just, I don't know. I don't see how this makes Boston overtake even Miami. I don't see how they overtake Miami because they don't address the number one need. Now, Porziņģis does bring size, which they were lacking. I'll give them that. But at the end of the day, they didn't lose because of size. They lost because Tatum and Brown are not playmakers. They kept turning the ball over. And, yeah, Miami, they were driving to the basket at will, but the number one thing they needed was a point guard, and they couldn't address that, and they gave up Marcus Smart. Who's going to be the leader on that team? Who's going to be the guy that holds people accountable? I want to know about that because it ain't going to be Tatum. It ain't going to be Brown. Who's going to be the leader of that team? And, I mean, Malcolm Brogdon, I heard he's a leader in some sorts, but he wasn't drafted there. This is going to be his second season, and like you said, the injury concerns. What is Boston doing? I just don't know. It's just weird, bro. It's just weird. Victor Wembanyama. So his rookie season. How do you see Victor Wembanyama's rookie season sort of looking like?
I'm going to predict he gets a cool 18 a game, about 8-9 boards, maybe 2-3 assists, maybe 1.5 blocks per game.
Mm-hmm. Think
rookie of the year, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, that sounds about right.
Because, like, it's going to be harder for players like Scoot and Brandon Miller to win because, like, they have Damian Lillard on, Trailblazers. They got Anthony Simons who could get a bucket. And on the Hornets, you got LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, possibly Miles Bridges if he comes back. You got guys that can score on those teams. Mm-hmm. But on the Spurs, it's kind of like, I mean, Keldon Johnson, he all right, but he's no Dame. He's no LaMelo.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the offense is pretty much going to run through Vic. And he'll get a lot of second chance point opportunities just off height alone and just get rebounds. So, I think it should be pretty. He should cakewalk to rookie of the year without. Hopefully, he stays healthy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Barring any injuries. So yeah.
Yeah, he's immensely talented. He's
got a great mindset. You see that interview he did with JJ Redick?
For sure. Yeah, I definitely watched that. Yeah, he's what's it called?
JJ said reached enlightenment.
Yes, reached enlightenment. Yes, for sure. That's where he is. He's just on another stratosphere right now, and he's more talented than Anthony Davis when he came out of college. I'll say that because he has a handle. He could shoot. Well, he didn't look like he could shoot on that video or whatever.
Yeah.
But that
don't count.
It don't count. He's definitely more fundamentally sound. I will say that he's not. His frame is a bit concerning. He needs to put on some pounds, but I think overall, I don't know. Could he 18 points? I think it's possible. I think that's a good projection. 18 points, maybe 9 rebounds, maybe 2 blocks, shoot 50% from the field, maybe 34% from 3. That's a good projection. With Scoot, it comes down to Dame. At the end of the day, if Dame isn't there, I think Scoot. If Dame isn't there, I think Scoot might win it. I think
it's definitely a possibility.
I think Scoot might win it because without Dame, Scoot, he'll get most of the touches. Although, yes, Simons is going to be there and Shaedon Sharp. But I think with Scoot, he just has that sort of mindset. He's the number 3 overall pick. They're going to get him sort of into the offense. They're going to try to make sure that he sort of develops. So I could definitely see Scoot winning it. Yeah, man. Wembanyama, he'll be fine. He has that skill set. As long as he's healthy, I can't see anybody else taking the Rookie of the Year besides Scoot if there's no Dame. So,
and look at his mentors. He got 3 Hall of Fame mentors.
Mm-hmm. Duncan, David Robinson, Manu, guys that's the perfect group of people that you want mentoring. Guys that are They haven't been, in drama or anything. It's not
They
like
won rings.
Yeah, they won rings. You didn't see Tony Parker there. Tony Parker. He was although he played San Antonio, he had a little stuff going on the side. But overall, those guys right there, those are the perfect mentors. They've never been in drama. They know the Spurs way. They've played for Greg Popovich.
Well, he probably wasn't there because Vic played with his team over in France already. So.
Yeah, probably that's another good point. But yeah, man, this organization, the Spurs organization, is a perfect organization for Victor Wembanyama. Greg Popovich will bring out the best in Victor Wembanyama, and I expect the best for him. And I'm hoping for the best for him because the NBA needs Victor Wembanyama to succeed, to elevate the game.
Yep.
Because LeBron, Steph, KD, those guys are getting older. Their days are numbered. They're in the twilight of their careers. We need another guy that they can market, that the NBA can sort of look to and say, he's going to be the face of our league for the next 15 years.
Yeah,
So,
because Ja and Zion, they looking too good for
it's
him.
looking very muddy right now for those two. They were supposed to be the faces, and unfortunately,
Giannis is like 30 already. So
yeah, he's 30, and he's in commercials,
yeah,
but he's still
he ain't part of the 15-year plan.
Scoot, he has the opportunity. I like Scoot's. It seems like Scoot is another guy that has he has people around them that are gonna hold him accountable, like his family. If you watch the NBA draft, his family are all together, like they're all connected and everything. And I thought that was really beautiful because they were like, "Yo, we be holding him accountable. We be letting him know."
Yeah, I think
when
Scoot's
wrong.
going to be good.
Yeah, he has a good circle around him, and I'm really comfortable. I look at Ja Morant and I just compare the two, and I just see a completely different circumstance with Scoot's situation compared to Ja's.
Ja used to be like that, but then over time, I don't know what the heck happened. Like everybody was always giving T. Morant his praise of how active he was and how he did, kept him under check. But now it's just like, now we ask you, where is T?
I think the thing what I like with Scoot's situation and his circle, his family, is when I think it was the sisters that said we hold him accountable. I think that's the number one thing that I pay attention to, the word accountability. With Ja's parents, I didn't hear the word accountability. I heard he was around. He was, help training him, getting him ready and stuff. That's what I heard. But I didn't hear the word accountability. When I heard that with his sisters, with his family, he's the youngest. When you're youngest, they try to protect the youngest and everything like that. I think that is very important for a young player. And then also his family, a bunch of hoopers as well. I think his sisters may play basketball as well, so he's not the only person that plays basketball. So they all sort of know the game. So I really like Scoot. I believe in Scoot. That's another reason why I wanted the Hornets to select Scoot over Brandon Miller, because with Scoot's situation, it seems like he's mature and he has a good foundation. With Brandon Miller, he was involved in that very, very scary situation. So I don't know if he has the right foundation, the right people around him. That's another thing I'm sort of scared when it comes to Brandon Miller. Not because of his skill set, not just because of his skill set, but also the people he has around him sort of being in that situation in college. It's a bit scary, a bit worrisome. So yeah, hoping for the best. I'm hoping for the best for Brandon Miller as well. Hopefully he plays well. We need these guys to succeed. Yeah. Like, I'm tired of seeing draft busts. I'm tired of seeing guys with so much potential miss games, show flashes, but get into trouble.
Yeah.
Just have your play the games. Stay out of all this chaos, all this nonsense with all these different women. Be with the right girl. Make right decisions. I'm not saying follow LeBron James' formula, because LeBron James' formula is rare. Finding a girl in high school and being with her for that long, that is rare. I'm not saying to be LeBron, but damn. do something smart. Stop trying to find a girl. Stop going to the club and finding a girl. I don't know. Go to church and find a girl. You know what I mean? Like, do something like that. Stop making these mistakes. Is there anything else we haven't discussed yet that we should discuss before we get out of here?
You want to touch on the Chris Paul, the Warriors thing?
Okay, I mean we can touch on. I think we. Oh yeah, we didn't touch on that.
We didn't.
Okay, so Chris Paul.
What the heck are the Warriors doing?
Chris Paul to the Warriors. I'll let you go first.
What? I ain't got much to say, but what the heck are they doing? This. Thanks for Jordan Poole, by the way. He will be a Rose Bar legend within the next year or so. Yeah, I don't understand. I know Jordan Poole was like a negative in the playoffs majority of the time, but Chris Paul can't even get on the court in the playoffs because he's always hurt. I don't know what this move does. I really don't know.
I will say this though.
Maybe gives them some playmaking off the bench, which is good. But like I said, you gotta rely on him being healthy in the later years. So
I will say this though. I did say last week that Chris Paul needs to go in a situation where the point guard position, like, okay, he can help, but they can still win games without him in the regular season. Now they're gonna need him in playoffs, but in the regular season, can they still win games? Can they still stay afloat? And I think the Warriors can still stay afloat without him, with him missing 20-plus games. I think when it comes to play style, I think they're going to have Chris Paul come off the bench because him and Steph, it just doesn't work. Well, actually, specifically the Warriors system because he's a ball-dominant guard. This team, they run a lot of motion, a lot of cutting, a lot of off-screen action. He likes traditional style, pick and roll, ball dominant guard. That's what he wants to do. He wants to have a big that can maybe stretch the floor that he can throw lobs to. That's what he wants, and you don't have that in Golden State. What, you got Kevon Looney, Draymond Green? Like, you don't have that in Golden State. And so that's a big problem. Chris Paul's going to have to come off the bench. This shit reminds me of my career. I remember, I think it was maybe 2K16 or 17 where Chris Paul, I was like, Chris Paul got traded to the Warriors? I'm like, what the hell is this? And this is some my career type of shit because this is the only thing I would see in my career. I never in a million years thought that Chris Paul would be traded to Golden State. Never in a million years, but it happened. I do think that the Warriors getting off of Jordan Poole's contract is a win.
Yes.
But at the same time, they gave up a first-round pick, a future first-round pick, 2030 first-round pick. The Warriors,
I think it's protected, though.
That is true. I don't know the sort of details surrounding it, but you are right. It is protected. But still, Jordan Poole, he was a young player. I think when Steph was out, although his shooting numbers were inefficient, I think he was averaging in the 20s.
25.
Yeah, he was averaging about 20, 25. Young player. He just had a bad incident with Draymond. I didn't like the contract. His attitude is a bit shaky. There was a video of him and Steph. I think Steph was talking to him on the sideline, whatever. And Jordan Poole, I think he ignored Draymond. I think Draymond was trying to talk to him, and he ignored Draymond. And Steph came up to him, was talking to him like, "Hey, what you doing?" That was a bad sign. Yeah. His play on the court in the playoffs was also bad as well. So he probably didn't want to be there anymore. And I guess you could say it was good that they sort of ended the relationship right there. Maybe Steve Kerr. I heard that Steve Kerr didn't like that the video was out. Maybe Steve Kerr was okay with Draymond punching him in the face. He just didn't like that the video came out. Because Jordan Poole, he was acting real cocky and stuff. This is just speculation. I don't know exactly what happened, but it just seems like guys didn't really like Jordan Poole that match. I'm talking about maybe Steph and Draymond probably didn't, or Klay Thompson. They probably didn't like him too much. And maybe they just wanted him out of here. They just felt like he just didn't fit the culture of the Warriors. And so it is what it is. They got Chris Paul on a 1-year deal, I believe it is, for $30 million. I don't know how the Warriors improve from here.
I do think with the addition of Chris Paul coming off the bench, they could possibly get more out of Kuminga and Moody.
Yeah.
But other than that, their roster still isn't that deep.
It's just Steph, Clay past his prime, Draymond if he wants to resign possibly. I think he'll probably resign.
I think so.
Looney, Wiggins, bench, crossing your fingers on the young guys to improve. It just doesn't seem like the young guys are really developing or are going to develop under this system because I guess Kerr's system is not conducive for young players. You see Wiseman, he had to leave in order to flourish. It just seems like Kuminga and Moody aren't going to really flourish under this system. So, I don't know, man. The Warriors are in a weird position, very weird position, where they're trying to win now, but the way the books are looking, the way the new CBA is looking, good luck. Because a lot of those guys are past their primes or not able to reach their potential. So, you said Jordan Poole, he's gonna be a Rose Bar legend. he's gonna fill the role that Kyle Kuzma left, because Kyle Kuzma came in, he started averaging like 22 points, and he started to get his points off. I guess Jordan Poole, you're gonna do the same thing.
Probably.
You gonna be like, hey, this is my team now. I got the green light. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to average about 25. He's going to take every shot possible.
He got that contract, too. He like, man, I am good. I got my own team now. I don't have to worry about winning. I could just put up points. I am good.
Hey, he got a ring already, so.
Full rebuild for the Wizards, too. We're not going to win anyway. I could just score whatever I want. Oh, man. What? That is easy. No expectations, like, oh man,
He about to be out there playing street ball,
bruh. What? That is great. And shame on the Wizards for they came up with that sort of courtside little. It was like 100 and
a section.
Yeah, section on the. It was like courtside, whatever, and they charged like I think 120,000
a season or something like that.
And they do that now when they're trying to tank. I feel bad for that. I feel bad for you, bro. They waited a year too early. Why now? Why not last year? Victor Wembanyama was in the draft. Like, you waited.
Yeah, that is pretty lame.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. I think DJ Wagner, I think he was the number one player coming out. I think he's going to Kentucky. I think he might be the number one pick next year, but I haven't seen him play. But that's the guy that might be the number one pick next year. You guys waited a year too early.
Give me Bronny James.
Oh, Bronny James. Hey, he would sell a lot of tickets.
He would.
And imagine
that's
LeBron.
If he even declares
imagine
next year.
LeBron pulls a Jordan and goes to the Wizards.
It's a full circle, but I see the script.
Oh my God, he like, yo, I'm gonna outdo what Jordan did for the Wizards. I'm gonna do better for the Wizards.
Let me tell you something. If LeBron were to go to the Wizards and we win a ring, I put him above Jordan. I swear on everything I will. I will buy a LeBron jersey. It'd be like, yeah, LeBron. If he were to accomplish that, it's not gonna happen. But if he were to accomplish that, I would put him as the GOAT officially.
Wow. You heard it first. LeBron, your biggest hater. He will put you as the GOAT. It would be
undeniable at that point.
He will put you. LeBron James will be considered the GOAT by Brian, the biggest LeBron James hater. If he goes to the Washington Wizards. You heard it first.
No, goes to the Wizards and wins a ring.
Goes to the Wizards and wins a ring. You heard it first. Unbelievable. Wow.
It ain't gonna happen, but it'd be funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed? Hopefully there isn't any other breaking news like the John Collins trade, but
no, nothing.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, NFL is still dry right now. We're still waiting for training camp. And, yeah, hold on. Chris Haynes. Ooh, okay. So it says Portland Trailblazers star Damian Lillard and his agent Aaron Goodwin are meeting with the team today to discuss the franchise's direction.
Huh.
What's the point of the meeting? We already know. Like, do you not see what's happening? Like, I don't get Dame, man. Like, what is there to talk about? Like, seriously, there's nothing really to talk about. Just demand a trade already. But, yeah, we'll see if Dame demands a trade. I really don't know. Hopefully it's today. Stop waiting too long. But, yeah, I think that'll do it for this edition of the Courtside View Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, and follow the socials as well. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.
Look, cold world, still a cold world. And a couple y'all is cool, but we a little more thorough. Whole time, a little more girls. You know I spit that sick shit and it's still no cure. Hold up, loud pack.